Thank you. Good morning, everyone. This is a wonderful day. The Holy Spirit has rained down upon our community on island, giving us the blessing of a new Archbishop, finally a long-awaited Archbishop-Elect. And in a moment, I will introduce them, along with the very Reverend Romeo D. Convicar, our Apostolic Administrator of the Archdiocese of Agana. And next to him, you've been able to chat with him briefly as right before this, the Most Reverend Ryan Jiminez, Bishop of the Diocese of Canoa, and now the Archbishop-Elect of our Archdiocese of Agana. You will recall it was just this past Saturday, July 6th at about 7, 8 o'clock at night. The announcement came from Rome and CPAC, the Oceania Conference of Bishops, that Pope Francis had appointed Archbishop-Elect the next Archdiocese of Agana Archbishop. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Archbishop-Elect Ryan Jiminez.
Good morning, everyone, and I'm very happy to be with you all, the reporters. I see media as a ministry, and in fact, in the church, this is what we call media ministry. And it's just good to be connected with journalists that I know, and so I won't really start here in Guam by just I have to get to know people, and I'm happy also to meet the new reporters. And it's important for us as a church to have this good relationship. And if we talk about transparency and how we also would want our message to get across to the people of the Archdiocese of Agana, and so I would like to start by saying thank you, and I am open and would like to work with you in this relationship, in this ministry. What you're doing in the language of the church, it's not just a job, but it's actually a ministry, a service to the people of Guam. So I don't know how this started. This is like my first. I'm really sweating because I'm nervous. If you ask me many questions that I'm not even, I still have to learn a lot. But maybe I will just say that since I got received the call on June 29, that was a Saturday, which in the church feast day, the solemnity of Peter and Paul, and then after that surprising call, then I was asked not to say that to anyone until it was officially published in Rome last Saturday at 8 o'clock p.m. So even with that, I see your role in the media as very important, because once the appointment is officially published in Rome, we don't have control. So what do? I have to strategize wherein few minutes before 8 o'clock that my brother priest in Saipan would know, because they are my closest collaborators, the staff, the religious sisters, as well as Father Romy through Tony Diaz, that somehow along that time, 8, because you want to give your people, your team, like the benefit that, hey, I heard it from this news outlet, and how come we didn't hear it from you directly? So times have changed. Maybe before it wasn't the case, but now once it's out there, it's out there. So I say this because, again, I reiterate the importance of this partnership in the work that we do for the church. I'll pause there because I'm sure you have questions that are not so hard for me to answer. Yes, Marvin?
Have you identified the priority items on your plate when you start?
I mentioned this also in my series of meetings. I arrived yesterday from Saipan, and I said the very first thing that I would do is pray with the clergy, the priests and the deacons. And then in the afternoon, meet with the staff of the Archdiocese, the curia, the team, started with a prayer and have a conversation. And just before coming here, I had morning prayer with the sisters. So to answer your question, the very first step is really to pray, because we're in the business of praying. As a church, we rely everything on God's help. Even though I'm the appointed leader I must keep in mind, as what St. Paul said, that I cannot boast of anything but of the cross of Jesus Christ. And so reliance on one's faith, on what's intangible, is a good way to start. Now, if we start well, then I believe the rest will follow. So in terms of to-do list, I'm taking a lot of mental notes on what to do. Even when I was with Father Romy almost the whole day and say, okay, let's take a break. Let's have coffee. Where's this nice place? We don't have that in Saipan.
Slow walk.
Slow walk. Why? That's even. And then there was someone like she's kind of like, I think she's a law student and saw me and says, oh, "You're the new Archbishop-Elect," and all of that. So as we sat down, then Father Romy can't help but started talking about these are the items. He said, "Psst, we're having coffee." So I share that because it's important to remind myself that while there are urgent matters that need to be discussed, need to be attended to, it really is important to trust in the slow work of God. Like anything in life, if you start well with prayer, recognizing that God is in charge, I think we're on the right place. Then those to-do lists hopefully would just come in naturally. Does that make sense, Marvick? Thank you.
Your Excellency, Mayor. Do you have any idea? I know the fact that we're going to have the installation masses, I believe, in mid-August, right?
August 15.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have an idea at this point, this far out, of the first homily you wish to present? Seeing as how you're still the new guy in town, but introducing yourself to the
True.
community and what message you would like to project.
First, the significance of the day. August 15th is the solemnity of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary. And it is a blessing that our cathedral, Dolce Nombre Maria de Maria Cathedral Basilica, so there's that, Marian kind of theme. Well, I guess the short answer is it's developing. My meeting with the priests yesterday, the deacons, the staff, the religious sisters, it's kind of like, when you prepare a meal and that, maybe Friday you have the sauce ready and then let it like mix on its own on a Saturday and then come Sunday it's ready to be served. That's where I am right now. But I always am mindful of the significance of that day, that it's the solemnity. It's a big feast for us Catholics of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary. And who is Mary? A model disciple, someone who said yes, someone who probably, humanly speaking, had doubts, but in the end, she submitted her will to the Lord. What a wonderful way to start. If I were to follow that example, our Blessed Mother has a lot to teach me. So if you ask me what's my thesis statement that would capture everything, it's still developing. And I hope I would be on point and not all over the place come August 15th. Yes, Heidi?
Archbishop, will there be leadership changes within the Archdiocese within the next few weeks or months?
Yes, and thank you for asking that because I believe that's everybody's question and also my close collaborators. And, majority of the priests just started their new assignment. Now, if I were to change that right away, maybe they would potentially just go back to Saipan. We're just settling down and then you're going to change things. So what I assured them is that, and I've always learned this, that when you're new in your role, whatever leadership role, take the time to get to know people, the staff, the priests, the deacons, that community. Like I imagine seeing myself visiting parishes, engaging in a conversation, and not make drastic changes. If you were to ask me a particular timeline, I would say between now or August 15th, this is the official canonical possession, and look at mid-April perhaps, which is on the Easter kind of season, and what a good way to begin if there are urgent changes that need to be made. So I will take my time and what has been implemented, and Father Romy has done a great job in keeping things going. There's a lot of to-do list. There's a lot of unfinished business. I would let him do that because I'm just the new kid on the block, and who am I to just change what has been doing well already? So that's my kind of like vague and general answer, Heidi, to your question. Yes.
Hi,
Nina Rao, KPRG. Your first answer said you touched on urgent matters and issues. Can you give me an example of what those urgent matters and issues that you want to address?
It's interesting because I've lived in Saipan the past 2 decades, and I read all your papers and watch the news. So, of course, in my conversation with Father Romy and coming here every now and then, so I would know what are those issues. But I try not to really, because we're in a way, each diocese is independent, right? So what would be obviously the what I read from your news and from your reporting, from and all of that is the continuing work of healing and reconciliation and bringing back trust to people. How do we do that? And it's always important for me that should always be at the forefront, not to lose sight of that. But then also as a church, equally important is the work of evangelization, proclaiming the good news that the normal, I don't know how to define normal, the way things should be done in a parish setting, that a vibrant community would hopefully slowly go back, right? Because in life, whether church or whatever institution, if we want to have a sense of regularity, we go through different stages. And I don't know what kind of stage I am coming in, as a new leader, but our goal and prayer is always to have that sense of stability, and knowing that sense of stability can only be achieved through our faith in the Lord and how we respond to that calling as the baptized.